Wow. Okay, we're here. Sorry about that. I hope I well, probably lost everybody. I didn't have that many in the first place. Just getting started with these types of things. Um, yeah, going through packing and moving process, and so didn't. And then of course things don't work as you always think they will. So we're back and live, getting ready to roll here. Um, so the topic is Dodgers free agency. Um, I said qualifying offers need to be finalized within what's that, 23 minutes. So the only guys that are available or allowed to get a qualifying offer for the Dodgers are Clayton Kershaw and Corey Seager and Chris Taylor. The rest are not. So people like Kenley, he got a qualifying offer after the 2016 season. Scherzer got one back in after the 2014 season, and plus they traded for him. So that wasn't going to happen. So all these other ones, I mean, I guess they could give Joe Kelly one, but I don't think they're going to do that. But let's go through the list real quick, and let's, at the top is Clayton Kershaw. Um, we don't know what his injuries are. That's part of the problem. I'm sure the Dodgers have a better insight. And so if the Dodgers offer him a qualifying offer, maybe he just takes it. Or my guess is they're working on a contract right now to try and see if there's a way to work something out smartly so that knowing whatever extent of the injury that he has, they can factor that into a fair contract for both sides. The Dodgers have paid Kershaw really, very well over the last 10 or so or eight or so seasons. And, there's only allegedly so much room, even though, it's not my money. I'd say go do whatever it takes. But they do need to be reasonable somehow with that. Scherzer, who is 37. Let's not forget that. Kershaw, by the way, will be 34. So Scherzer will be starting next season at 37. And we know what he's got. I mean, we know he's good. But however, he did poo out at the end of the year. That may happen again. Who knows? I mean, you just don't know with pitchers. Pitchers are the biggest question mark out there. Is the Dodgers basically ran out of starting pitchers in the postseason, and so need more. Kenley Jansen, who, man, he was good. Oh, hey Sal. Good afternoon to you too. Kenley was really good most of the year. He had the middle of the season where he just stopped being good at it all, and then but he's added slider and two seamer. He's looking pretty darn good, and like Kershaw, he spent his whole year with the Dodgers, and I know Kenley's is not his favorite, but that bullpen guy, whoever the closer is going to be, get trashed a little bit by the fans. They're scary. It's if you look at any closer in history, they've failed. They've had failures, and Kenley had a really nice year. I hope somehow he does stay with the Dodgers. But this is probably his last shot at getting a big contract, so he's got to go for it, and whatever he does, he's got to do. And next in line is Corey Seager, who will be 28 right around the time the season starts. Gosh, I'd hate to lose him. I just, some of us have the bad feeling with his agent being Scott Boras, but and it's tough to read what's going on. I sure hope he does stay somehow. I talked about it, I think a week or two ago. I'd like to see him get shortstop money, but end up playing at third base, maybe even first base eventually. His offense, I think, will only get better as he moves off a shortstop. Who would you replace him with? Well, at short, Trey Turner. And then you have Gavin Lux over at second to battle it out with whoever else may be out there. I don't believe the Dodgers should just give the job to Gavin Lux. They've done that the last 2 years, and I'd like to see them make him earn it. He did have I think he ended really well. And so, and I want him to win the job. That's for sure. Next on the list here, and I'm going off a Sport Track. Oh, look at this. I just got from the Dodgers thing. They have just extended the qualifying offers to Corey Seager and Chris Taylor. So we have not seen anything about Clayton Kershaw yet, but this literally just came from the LA Dodgers PR department. You see that? So that's good. We'll talk about Christopher Armand in a minute. Yeah, Seager, I hope he stays. Next on the list they have here is Danny Duffy. And he didn't pitch for the Dodgers, but it sounds like he wants to pitch for the Dodgers. It's his team growing up. I'd like to see them give him some type of a make good contract. You cannot have enough starters. And I will talk about and write about this probably for Dodgers Nation. I've done it before. I'm a big believer in going with the 6-man rotation, the way pitchers are built these days. I just think that's something they should be considering, and so he'd be a good person to have it in a role. And he was really good before he got hurt too. Joe Kelly's on the list. Love Joe Kelly. I don't, he's a guy that has some of his off the field stuff has made him more popular than the on the field thing. But he actually had a pretty good season before he broke down. And another guy, we just don't know how broken he is. And Chris Taylor, they did offer him a qualifying offer. That's great. I doubt he takes it because I think he's going to be in super high demand, but got to have that guy back. You saw what happened last year without Kike. And so that you need two good utility guys. And I don't consider Taylor a utility. I consider him a full-time guy who plays all over. But the replacements for Kike did not work out at all. They didn't work, not enough defense there. And actually, Kike is a better defensive player than Taylor, but Taylor holds his own at just about every position you put him in. Corey Knebel, that guy was pretty darn good when he was healthy. And I think that's a guy you try to keep, knowing that he is fragile. You got to just factor that into the contract. And, oh, man, Jimmy Nelson shows up on this one. I don't know if he's going to be able to come back next year. I have no idea. But when he was with us, he was pretty darn good. His curveball's nasty once he was able to get his feel and control for it. Cole Hamels, again, never pitched for the Dodgers, got $1 million to try and work his way into it. Let's see. Yeah, Sal's saying he'd rather pay sign CT3 than overpay for Corey. Yeah, I can see, but he wants to see them both stay. I'm like that too. But I've got Seager's one of my favorites, so I'm biased there. I went and made sure I saw his first game in San Diego. It turned out I was sitting behind his parents. It was kind of cool. But he's been like family favorite, not just a favorite of me, but our whole family really likes him. So Cole Hamels, why not? Let's do that one. Albert Pujols, Tio. One of the best things about this last season was seeing Albert Pujols and Max Scherzer pitch and play for the Dodgers. These are two surefire Hall of Famers. I know that wasn't fired up about Albert when he was first released, but as soon as he signed, me and my younger son got in the car and headed up to Dodger Stadium to see him debut against the Diamondbacks. And he's a special player. Scherzer's special also. I mean, these guys they're Hall of Famers, and so I think Albert was important on that team. I think it's underrated how important he was in terms of in the clubhouse with what went on with, as I call him, the redacted one, as he's gone, all the accusations and all whatever has gone on with that guy. That caused some issues, I'm sure. Then the last one really on here, I'm skipping a few. Steven Souza Jr., he really seemed to like playing for the Dodgers. And I like that type of player. He's a guy that you can put him, I think you could probably do the whole thing like they did this year. Put him in AAA, get some work, comes up, maybe helps you a bit. I mean, he really, if you look at it, he didn't do that much for them. He did help them win a game against his former team, the Diamondbacks. He's a guy that he got hurt in a home plate celebration a few years ago, and he just hasn't been the same. He's a guy that did hit over 30 home runs before. So there was, what's this going on here? The Dodgers did not extend a qualifying offer to Clayton Kershaw. So I think that's just because they're going to sign him. That's just my feeling on that. They're going to do some type of incentive-laden contract. I don't think he's going anywhere, but you never know. You just never know. So that's from John Heyman, Robert Murray. It's still not. That's still not final. They still got till 2:00, so I think we'll see something on that. And make sure keep your eyes open on DodgersNation.com. As you know, we are we're basically a relative of Dodgers Nation, and so they will have information out there all the time. Doug McCain will probably do a broadcast really soon to cover some of the same things I am on this station. But yeah, they're going to be on this big time. Corey, obviously it's a big deal no matter what that Kershaw has not gotten that offer. It is a big deal, and so who knows? Maybe he's send some signals about possibly moving on, or more likely they're just working on a contract right now, and then you don't worry about a qualifying contract or a qualifying offer with that. Sorry about this. Oh yeah. Then there was some rumors about a little note about the Dodgers being interested in Andrew Heaney, who was absolutely awful for the Yankees. He's been solid with the Angels, but he was awful with the Yankees. But he's got good stuff. That's the thing. Certain things you can't teach, and having good stuff is a nice thing to have, and it's something that I think our pitching coaches can do a lot with. They've got all sorts of guys down there, led by Mark Pryor. They have a really good mix in that coaching staff with Pryor, and then Rob Hill, and then Connor McGinnis, and then even Josh Bard. So there's a mixture of major league success, and then the deep dive type guys like McGinnis and Hill. Another note was that Tim Hires was hired by the Rangers as a hitting coach. I was kind of hoping that the Dodgers would have picked him up. He's a guy with some success. I'm not saying drop other people, but I want someone, there needs to be another voice in there also. I mean, we do know that every player's got their own hitting coach, but it's in the game where we're looking at adjustments to be made, and what type of adjustments are being recommended and things like that. I know that Doc, after some of those playoff games, was pretty ticked off based on their, hey, bringing one golf club to the golf course or whatever type of thing he said. I keep checking for updates here on the Dodgers here. Let's see. Interesting, just for the Dodgers' sake, possibly, is Steven Matz from the Jays was not offered qualifying offer, and so I think that's something to look at. Dodgers need to get they need to get more guys or more starters, in my opinion, and not forgetting that we still have guys like Andre Jackson and Mitchell White and more like that coming. We got the young guys coming. We talked a little bit about that a few days ago, just about the top 30, and I'm excited for that top 30. So I'm going to be heading out. Shout out to my 12U San Diego Hawks white team. I got to be there in a little less than an hour. So I was getting this in before that. And then after that, heading to see Angels and Airwaves. So that'll be cool. Let's see. Yeah. So Sal, I'm with you here. Thoughts on moving Will to the infield and bringing up Cartaya? I don't think Cartaya is ready yet. I think he's 2 or 3 years away. But the idea of playing Will at third or first or something like that is a good idea. And they have to do that during spring training, not in the freaking middle of a game like they did with the Giants, where they put him at first base. That was a disaster, and it did not work. He had no idea what he was doing out there with his footwork, and they helped him lose a game. So yeah, hopefully they figure some stuff out like that. Will needs to be in the lineup every day. With the DH probably coming, he would get DH time during off days with Barnes catching. But it is also Barnes is, he's a free agent after next year. So, so they got Smith locked up for another 4 years after this, which is good after 2021. So that's good. But yeah, the catchers are coming. Keep your eyes open on Carson Taylor. I think I'm going to do a little article on him. I do have my former player for me, Brendan Barnoff, has eyes on him down in Arizona, and so I will be looking at Carson Taylor. He's had put up some good numbers. Same with James Altman, another kind of friend of the show here. Let's we will again going through the moving process, so things are going to be a little chaotic. My office is torn down and packed up. Moving in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks, but you know how that goes. You got to prepare for it. So, all right, everybody, let's end this. Go Hawks! Again, shout out to my boys, and see you guys real soon, and we'll probably on Tuesday. All right, adios.